Okay, so the easiest way to approach this question is to actually group the numbers. And I'm going to show you with brackets how to group the numbers. Oh, my pen is not working properly. There we go. And what you're going to notice about each of these groups is that each one will equal 11. So to get this question really quickly, all you're going to do is 11 times 4. A lot faster than just adding and subtracting all of these numbers together. So the answer to this one will be 44. So this one here was asking how many squares can you make where you have either an even number or the sum is an even number. So the first thing that you have to remember is to get an answer that is an even number, you either need all even numbers or an even number of odd numbers. So right away, the squares that are 1 by 1 in size, there are only 4 of them that have even numbers. So that one, that one, that one, and that one. So at the moment, you're at 4. So now we need to look at the squares that are 2 by 2. So for example, there's a 2 by 2. It has an even number of odd numbers. It will count. Here is another 2 by 2. It has an even number of even numbers. It will count. Here's another one, an even number. Whoops, I put a 2 there. So there's 2 that I just circled in green. And then here's another one. Now, this one, again, an even number of odd numbers. It will count. Now, if we try other 2 by 2 squares, actually, I don't even know if there are other 2 by 2 squares. So take that back for a second. If you look at the 3 by 3, this large one, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 odd numbers. So you're not going to be able to make an even sum. And so the answer to this question is that there are 8 squares that will have either an even number by itself or where the sum is even. So the fastest way to approach this question is, again, to group them. And you're going to group them so that the 2 things multiplying by 6 are together and the 2 things multiplying by 4 are together. So then what you can do is if you have 1974 times 6 and you have 45 times 6, then really this is like having 2019 times 6 because these combined equal 2019. Likewise, if you have 1969 times 4 and 50 times 4, this is also like having 2019, and then this one's times 4. So now if we look at this, if I have 6 groups of 2019, and I have 4 groups of 2019, and I'm adding them together, that's really the same thing as if I had 10 groups of 2019. And now you're actually going to see really easily that this is not a lot of math that I need to do in my head. All I need to do is move the decimal place once. And I didn't actually have to calculate each of those pieces. So just a really quick strategy to help you with a question like this that involves mental math to be able to group numbers to make it easier to do the mental math. So with this one here, there's a few different ways that you can approach it. I think what a lot of you did were kind of just guessing numbers, and that's totally fine. One thing that I'm just going to show you that might make it a little bit easier than just guessing numbers, if you have 5 lunches and 3 dinners, that's 70. And then 3 lunches and 5 dinners is 74. If I combine all those together, I'm going to have a total of 8 lunches if I combine them and a total of 8 dinners. And that's going to be a total of 140, not letting me write it. Ah, my pen is frozen for a second. Let's try 100 and, no, not letting me write. There we go. Now it's writing in a weird way. $144. So if 8 lunches and 8 dinners is 144, to get 1 lunch and 1 dinner, I just need to divide 144 by 8. And I'm going to get 18 when I do that. So then if I can compare it to one of these two top ones here. So for example, this first one, 5 lunches and 3 dinners. Well, why don't I make this 3 lunches and 3 dinners? And that's going to be 18 times 3 or $54. When I compare these, what's different about them? Well, the only thing that's different, they both have 3 dinners. What's different is one has 2 lunches more. So that means 70 minus 54, or $16, must be the cost of 2 lunches. So then 16 divided by 2 must be the cost of 1 lunch. So that's just one strategy to help you that might be a little bit faster than a guessing and checking strategy. So problems like this can be challenging to do. Because you're trying to get the biggest answer possible for ouch, the best thing to try first is to try that O. Oh, I'm still having problems with my pen. There. O is going to be 9. And then we're going to say that S is going to be 8. These will maximize my answer. So now let's see if I can fill in. So if my O is 9, okay, I'm going to use my pen or my finger. And then my S is 8. Okay, so far this is what I have. So to get to this being 9, I know I needed to carry a 1. So T plus T has to be something where I carry the 1. Now, you have to also go back here and start to think about, okay, so can you be, we want to maximize things. T, first of all, we can't have an 8, we can't have a 9. So could we try a 7 and a 7 and get 14? Maybe. Carry our 1. So then the U is that. So let's see here. Oh, but now that's forced us to carry a 1 here. And now that is not going to work for here. So 4 plus 9, because the 4 here has to be the same, the 4 for U has to be the same as the 4 for U. I would end up with 13, which then would make this 15. So that's not going to work. So could I then put in something else there? So could this be a 5? And this be a 5? I apologize, my pen is not working very well. Okay, so now I'd have 14, and that one would work. Okay, so now my C is 4. So now let's see where I could go from here. So remember, I want to try to create the biggest answer possible. So I've got a 0, a 1, a 2, a 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a 6 left. So if I start to go through this, remember, I want to get the biggest thing possible. So if I tried 6 and 3, that would mean H would have to be 9, and it can't be because I've already used a 9. If I tried 6 and 2, H would be an 8. It can't be. If I tried 6 and 1, H would be a 7. It can't be. So I've got to start to go through some of those possibilities and start to think about what I might be able to use. As I keep going through the possibilities, so could I do 3 plus 2? No. Could I do 3 plus 1? No, because that's a 4. So as I start to go through what the possibilities are to get the largest thing possible, I'm going to end up with a 1 and a 2, and H will be 3. And that will be my answer. So again, just to review that, with those numbers that were left, I was trying to get the biggest answer I possibly can without using numbers that I've already used. So I have to keep going through. So a 6 and 0 would work, but it would give me 0, which is smaller. 9540 is smaller than 9543. I'm trying to get the biggest answer I can here with what I've got left. So I would think like h is a 6. Could I make that? No. H is a 3. Yes, I could make that. So I go through and I try to think, could I put a 6 there? Could I put a 6 there? No, because I don't have the numbers to make that. What's my next highest number? A 3. So these are tricky, but you have to kind of start with bigger numbers and kind of keep working through what you've used and what you haven't used. Remember, if you have any questions, come and talk to me about these, and we'll see you next time.